I think we're in for a fun one here on our next conversation. These two seem like they like each other. They've been around each other for a few years, and I think we're in for a fun one. They're the lead singers and songwriters of Maygen and The Birdwatcher. Their second full length album, The Americana Dream, is out now. Let's welcome in Maygen, Lacey, Noah, Neumann.
How's it going?
Oh, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. How are y'all doing tonight?
Oh, terrific.
Pretty good. It was like 46 degrees today in the middle of, well, the beginning of January. So that's pretty nice for Minnesotans.
Take it.
Feeling it, yeah.
It's sloppy.
Sloppy.
Sloppy
That's
is
fine.
slippery, but we'll take it.
I was gonna say, I mean, for where you guys are at, I mean, I think of just cold winters, but you're having a little heat wave right now, right?
We're having a heat wave.
Yeah.
We're getting our bathing suits on.
We're not mad about
our
it.
sunscreen on, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, down here in Kentucky, we can have all four seasons in one day. I think today we got up into the 60s, but I think next week it's supposed to be down in the 20s or 30s. So you just never know here.
You never know. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, at least we know here. We know what we're going to get here. We don't have to question. It's just going to be cool.
It's gonna
Fact.
be cold.
Yeah.
Well, I think we also know what we're in for, and that's a good conversation. And I got to kick it off with my very first question. This is Bar Conversations. So, what's your go-to drink these days? What are you drinking tonight?
You start.
I will start. I am drinking a Bell's Two Hearted IPA. I'm an IPA girl through and through, and Bell's is one of my favorite ones. So
Is it your go-to?
pretty solid. It's been my go-to for a while. Surly Furious is close second, I would say, too.
Well, my go-to is generally like Scotch, any sort of whiskey. But we're in our practice space tonight, so I have I don't know how to say it. It's some sort of German Toucher. I don't really know, but it's a Hefeweizen, and I am always down for Hefeweizen. So
I do love a good Heffy.
I'm living life. How about you?
So I try to pair. I don't have anything from Minnesota. I know that there's some good whiskey made up there,
Hmm?
but I was trying to find something that kind of made. And now that I know that you enjoy beer too, this is even better. Going off the Birdwatcher name,
Oh yeah.
little chicken cock, righteous blonde,
Yes.
and that's a beer barrel finish as well.
How is
So,
it?
It is. It's actually pretty good. So they did a collaboration with Goodwood down here in Kentucky, and their blonde beer that's finished in or bourbon barrels,
Wow.
or barrels,
Okay.
and then they put the whiskey in there, and it's righteous blonde. It's not too
Chicken
bad.
cock. All right,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Chicken cock with good wood.
Good.
All right.
Chicken cock, yeah.
There's a lot of play on words there.
I get it. So, the subtlety was not missed.
And the best part is this is like an old brand too. And when I first heard about it, I was like, no, that's not a real thing.
Yeah.
It is. It really is.
Good.
There it is.
Might as well.
And they play up it too, because I went to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in the fall, and if you could guess what they would have in their booth, it was a giant chicken that you could ride. So I mean,
Well,
Of course. What else would there be?
why wouldn't you?
Come on.
Why wouldn't you?
and somehow I didn't end up doing that weekend. There was a lot of
Sorry.
bourbon, and I didn't do that. So um,
Next time.
exactly next year. So now, I know we're talking drinks, but you guys do this thing called music, and I'm curious to know: were you two into music at a young age? When did that love of music start?
Yeah, oh man. For me, my mom was always listening to the radio. So it was like she was like constant radio lady, in the kitchen radio always on. So it was on K102 up here, which was just country station in the 90s. So it was very full of, Reba and Travis Tritt and Randy Travis and all that kind of stuff. And uh I loved it. I loved having music in the house all the time, dancing around, whatever. I didn't find a love for like wanting to sing or do much until maybe, well, still young, like 9 or 10, I would say. But um, yeah, it's been a musical journey for me. But for sure, I've definitely always loved music. You feel it, in your soul.
Yeah. Similar for me, man. Yeah, like from as early as I can remember, I remember just my dad and mom always having music on. upstairs all the time. You know, my dad was really into like having a nice sound system and Marantz and Pioneer and Kenwood and stuff like that. And you know, explain how important that is, and having all those old vinyls that he'd have or tapes even. You know, listened to a lot of tapes growing up. So yeah, it was just from the get go. And then as soon as I could get something to listen to my own music, like with headphones, I'd try to find and like steal all my older brother's CDs and stuff, and just literally just rip through anything I could just to find stuff that I liked. So yeah,
Yeah, my big brother always listened to really depressing stuff, which was like not I don't think I wanted to steal any of his music. It
darn.
was crazy, but yeah.
I mean,
Anyways.
sometimes that's how it is. And then now Noah seems like he's maybe a potential small rule breaker because I read where your parents made you take piano lessons as a kid, and then you found a teacher who eventually let you break some rules and have a little more
Hmm.
fun with it.
Yeah, that's a, yeah. Good research. Yes. I obviously like all that stuff, like learning how the things work is important, but I was always just I wanted to hear the music that was in my head, or like the interpretation that was in my head, and right away that wasn't really encouraged. And I learned stuff, you know, I kind of figured it out, but it was just a chore. And it wasn't until, yeah, Patty Lou Sheen was her name, was the teacher, where I just like I fell in love with it then, because I could do what I wanted to hear with it and put my own interpretation on it, my own passions and stuff like that. And she really encouraged that, and that was very important to my early musicking.
Musicking.
Music. Yeah.
And now, are both of you from Minnesota? Are you born and raised in Minnesota?
Yep.
Yeah.
Born and
Mhm.
raised. We are
So,
corn-fed
so
through and
I was
through.
gonna say,
Yeah.
there's a lot of lakes up there, a lot of cold weather, good beverages as well. So what was it like growing up there? What impact did that have on you musically, personally,
Mm,
all that?
good
Jeez.
question. Musically, how does that impact us? It's dark a lot.
It's dark a lot.
Try to write the opposite of that. Yeah, I mean, I will say it is. I know, like obviously the cold, but man, I mean, like in the summertime, in the spring, summer, and the fall, it's hard to beat. It really is, and not just to be like biased. It
It's
is
because we suffer.
right.
We suffer. And
We
then we're just like, woo.
right because
Yeah.
I think we as a people know that you kind of got to get the good while the good's here. So
Yeah.
we will take full advantage of nice weather and nature and stuff like that, because we know it's not going to be here for forever.
I bet if you were to look, like we are probably the number one state that will like still watch a concert in like the pouring
Right.
rain
Yeah.
or like 45 degrees or
Yep.
whatever. Like
Yeah, because
we're
yeah,
out
we're
if
just
we
out to
can.
do it. So I mean, I think I would think of two things then, is like the nature component is huge, just like the lakes, the woods,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But also kind of like we have a good like camaraderie here, a good old, we're all very Scandinavian here, and we have this kind of like code of like camaraderie and togetherness and with itness, which is, I think,
And hot dish.
pretty important, and hot dish. So,
Yeah.
that's the third component to a good record, I guess. Nature, togetherness, and hot dish. There you go.
Yeah, I didn't really I guess I've never really been asked that about just how it has like sh shaped
Hmm.
us from like a young age, like being up here. I'm sure it has, but once I started writing songs, which was like I don't know. I started very very minimally when I was like in my early 20s, but uh I would say I try to avoid writing in the winter because I like to write songs that are not depressing and like, winter is we're not my family is not like ski people, snowboard people necessarily, or like snowmobile or really much to do with outdoor activities in the winter. So, yeah, winter can be tough up here. So, yeah.
See, it did have an impact, and and
Hmm.
and clearly you definitely didn't want to listen to your older brother's CDs any more than you had
Oh
to because that would
man.
have just been even worse. So, what music though did you guys grow up on? I mean, I know I heard different things. Music was you were surrounded by it. What were some of the bands that you gravitated toward, artists, and that you loved, and still to this day, maybe have an impact on kind of how you see
Hmm.
music and do it.
I was the opposite of Noah, I would say. I was like such a teenager, like Backstreet Boys, like whatever was popular and on the radio at the time. I was just all about that. I didn't really develop a taste for music until I was out of high school, until I was probably like 19, I would say. I was not like the cool kid that was listening to whatever Radiohead or whatever. So, um, yeah. But I really had that foundation of the 90s country that I loved. And then I got into like Victory Records type bands like metal and
Mhm.
emo and like hardcore and that kind of stuff. And I worked at a record at I actually worked at Victory Records for a little while and was just kind of in a whole different kind of scene. So lots of influences for sure.
For me, it kind of came in waves. I can kind of think about like landmarking throughout my life. So like earliest memories are like a lot of Joni Mitchell, Sheryl Crow, and then like the next wave would be like Earl Klugh and George Benson and like kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan was right in there. And then kind of when I was coming into my own, like finding my own stuff, like Led Zeppelin hit me like a ton of bricks, and I went through all like that catalog, and then like Joe Cocker and Allman Brothers and Stones, all that stuff. And then yeah, like in high school, I remember my first band was then like a post-hardcore punk like metal band. I didn't have any like context for that besides like I think like the hardest thing I listened to would be like Metallica or like Avenged Sevenfold. And I was like kind of nervous at first, but
Metallica.
then I know, I know. Then I fell into all that stuff, and then like for like a number of years, like listened to just like power metal and extreme metal and stuff like that. And yeah, and it's just kind of gone from there. But that's helped me kind of jump in platform because after I was done playing metal music, I played like neo soul for a little bit because I had a friend in college who sang like in a neo soul band, and that was a cool exposure. So I've been lucky to be exposed to a lot of different styles and influences and passions. So
I,
Yeah,
I,
and we
I love
started a
that for
French
both of you.
Americana band.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I love that because
yeah,
then rock, hard rock to Americana and folk and
yeah.
soul. I mean, I love it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it makes it even better then because you two met in 2017 at a church. Is that right? Is that how you guys met?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. I was singing just like backup harmonies or whatever, and he was on guitar.
Playing guitar, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was in my own little duo, like Christian folks kind of original, project. And we were asked to play this private event that the Indigo Girls were playing. So we were going to play right before Indigo Girls, but we were just like not pro. So I was like, who do I know that plays guitar and can play guitar well? So like I asked the guy at church if he wanted to play with us, and then we hit it off from there. Yeah.
I love that. And how did you guys, hearing what your music love was, end up with Americana, folk, and that route of music that you guys do now?
Well, for me,
Hmm.
I listened to all kinds of music and I went into music at like that, Victory Records record label because I loved music and I knew I wanted to sing, but I was like not having like I was way too scared. I was like I had a problem with like stage fright and just all that kind of stuff. So, I saw Brandy Carlisle. I was a cocktail waitress and I saw Brandy Carlisle play and I was like, "Oh my God, I can do that. Like I can sing like that. I want to go down that avenue." And I didn't know much about folk music or anything because I hadn't ever really listened to it. So I just dug in on Brandy and kind of went from there. So folk kind of made its way when I was like 19 or so, I would say.
Yeah, and I think kind of when we first started, Megan was doing like kind of like singing and the writing, and I was doing like the guitaring and stuff like that. And as we kind of both, met, and Megan was like, I'd like to play more instrumentally, and I want to do more singing and writing, but the way that I guess that I approach things, I do not really do the pretty nice soft folk thing. So it's like we're going to have to make some changes here. So we're like, well, this is kind of has some country feel to some of the stuff. Maybe we just kind of start hitting that more. But then I don't even like, I can't even. I know when we met people, but I don't know how we ended up just like falling into a puddle of bluegrass players.
Yeah,
It's like
we
that's what it
just
was.
did.
Yeah, person, and
And I love the sounds of
I
the
know
instruments, but I
like we're not bluegrass, but
I
we'll have
was
bluegrass players.
I was not familiar with like
Yeah.
mandolin and banjo, and
But
that the
it,
fiddle is also a violin. Like all that stuff was new to me,
yeah,
really.
it's
So,
just some of the early interpretations of some of the stuff we were writing was just we just were floored. We're like, oh my
it
god,
was
this is
so
what we can do.
fun.
So that was just
So fun.
that really helped dictate it, I think. But yeah, it wasn't like really a discernible like decision. It kind of
That's how it
just
kind
happened.
of came out with the boys that we're with. And like, if Noah and I were to write a song, it would sound singer-songwritery, kind of. There'd
Sure.
be some country now,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's our band. It's the band magic, I
Hmm.
would say.
Hmm.
I love that, and we'll get to the band here in a second. But you mentioned this, Megan, where you're kind of or were terrified of performing live.
Hmm.
Obviously, and you kind of enjoyed doing the studio work, and you had recorded some stuff, but you didn't love the stage part. How did writing
Hmm.
with Noah and kind of like you said, the Brandon Carlisle and all that help you step out from behind the microphone in the booth and actually be on stage?
Yeah, I kind of just came to a point where it's like, at that point I was a mom of, married with kids, and like a mom of like a 2 and a 4 year old. And I was just like, man, if I do not do this thing that keeps calling out to me, if I don't do it now, like it's just never going to happen. So I just kind of jumped off the cliff with the whole, build your wings on the way down situation. Um, and I started the Sparrows Rising thing, and that was a nice little welcoming community of people. And then meeting Noah, I was just like, okay, well, this is actually the avenue that I want to go. No offense to the Christian folk stuff, but it just wasn't quite what the direction that I wanted to go. And Noah wanted to go in a similar direction at the same point in his life. So yeah, we just started writing original tunes and then found people after that. So it's been really helpful because he plays guitar well and like has ideas, and um and it's just been
And
great,
he's humble.
when you and he's exactly, yeah. And so when you meet somebody that you're comfortable writing with, it really makes all the difference. Plus, I'm right all the time, which is great. Like he's just always like, yeah, whatever you say, you're so right. And so that works too for me. But yeah.
See, I said you guys get along so well.
Oh man. Oh, just yeah. Peace and harmony over here, man.
Well, and obviously it's not hard to figure out how at least part of the name of the band came to be. Maygen, that makes a ton of sense. Although I'm
Sure
sure it's
does.
been said wrong many a times.
Yep.
Um, the birdwatcher part, is it true that it kind of came from Noah being quote a bona fide bird nerd?
It is 100% true.
Yeah. A big fat nerd.
But it wasn't like we were trying to be like we're like this cool duo and like now my stage name is the Birdwatcher. But we knew we wanted to have like Megan's name within the name somewhere because she'd kind of already done her own thing. We're like, oh, that's good. We should kind of keep Megan's steam going. We tried some other things out and they weren't great. And then we thought about, well, the Bird Watchers would be great, but there's already a band called the Bird Watchers. And we're like, well, it's kind of just the two of us some of the time. So we just be making the Bird Watcher. And it's just kind of like, it's very avant garde that way. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
I am a bird nerd.
I just love that. I just because talking to folks over the years, the band name is sometimes or the duo group, whatever you want to, is some of the hardest things to come up with.
Oh,
Because,
I
like you
know.
said, there's a lot of names taken already, and then two, there's
Yep.
just a lot of names that you're like, I just don't love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just I get the Bird Watcher.
We were Megan Lacey and the Great Wave for a hot minute
For like a
there.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprisingly though, it seems like Birdwatcher is the thing that's misspelled more than Megan.
Yeah.
It's Birdwatcher is a lot, which is fine, but then like Bird Space Watcher,
Birdwather.
Birdwather, Birch
Birchwatcher.
Watchers.
It's yeah.
You don't really have to watch Birch;
It's
he'll
it's
just be there.
okay. It's all right. We forgive the people.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, you mentioned that the name kind of started too because, like you guys said, you were kind of a duo, but then you found this puddle of bluegrass players and transitioned kind of into a six-piece band in 2019. How did that come to be? How did you guys, kind of build out, and why'd you want to do that?
we just felt like we were at a space where the music we wanted to make couldn't, like we could record with like a backing band, but when we were just playing the two of us, we were like, we want to do more than this. We were kind of expanding past our confines.
Yeah,
And
we didn't really want to play cafes as just like a duo, like we just have more energy than that. And so,
yeah,
we were just like, get us out of
yeah.
here.
And I knew,
Where's the stages? But yeah.
and I was playing around with some other like groups and crews and things like that. So I just knew some musicians, but I just started by, was it Ethan? Was there kind of our first like foothold?
Well, Peter, right?
No,
No.
Peter came first.
Ethan, yes, because our first show was with Ethan. It was a
Ethan,
trio.
Ethan, I know his bass player,
Right.
and he also played upright, which I was like, oh man, upright bass was cool. He's like, yeah, my brother Jesse plays mandolin.
Right.
Be
That was
next to me.
convenient. That was super
I know, because
convenient.
they were in a group
Yeah.
when they were younger. And Ethan isn't
Yeah.
with us anymore, but Jesse is. And
Yeah.
then our old pal Nick Pellinen, who's our banjo and lap steel player, we did a songwriting night at above a sushi bar
Yeah.
in Minnesota, and we played this. We saw this dude play, and he's like, this raggedy freaking dude, like
With
with his
long
long
hair,
hair,
long fingernails,
all his tats.
like plucking
He's
band
he's
ever.
far too cool for us.
He's so
He's
cool.
not gonna, but let's just ask him. He's like, sure,
Yeah.
I can play with you guys.
Yeah.
And then he's been
He
with
was
us
like,
since.
sure. And we were like, oh, shit just got real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
So,
then our first album we were gonna record, we're like, we should probably have some drums on it too.
yeah.
And it was like a shot, like we were like I take a huge shot because this guy Peter Anderson in town, he has played with everybody. He
Amazing.
is like in my mind like the number one drummer in town. But he was going to engineer originally, and we were gonna say because someone recommended him an engineer, and we were like, okay, great. So he's like, yeah, and then what do you want to do for drums? I'm like, well, we don't really have anybody, but maybe you could play on stuff. He's like, well, how about I just do the drums and I'll have my friend engineer? And we're like, great, that's awesome. So we never ever met him before we walked into the studio with him. Remember?
Yeah.
We didn't even meet him. He's like, here's my ideas for the songs. We're like, that's amazing. So we recorded all the songs in one day, and we're like, do you want to play our CD release show? And he's like, sure.
And
He's just
then
like,
he's just so, like, he's a fan of ours. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
loves our music, and we're just so grateful. It's crazy.
So
We're
he's
so,
touring the world to play with us. It's
I
great. Yeah.
know, Peter
So
Anderson.
we've been very, very fortunate, and I don't know how we've managed to swing this group, but we sure do. But
We're a bunch of misfits,
yeah,
but
they are.
that's okay.
I
I love it.
is.
Well, it works, and like you guys said, not everyone that first came in, stayed, but for the most part, you guys have been able to kind of keep the group together for a
Yeah.
good while, and build some continuity, and build
Mhm.
that sound up.
Yep. As far as our mainstays, and people get subbed out and in and out and stuff like that. But as far as our mainstays, they've all been the same except bass. We've switched a couple times, but Joe Barron is our guy right now, and he's
Yeah,
in it
he's
to
been
win
with
it.
us like a
He's
year and a half, 2 years.
the guy where he came to do a tour with us, and he just,
He packs a serious trailer.
oh
I
man.
mean, he is just like Tetris. Like he,
Do a traveling show without him because I'm like, I don't even want to think about it. We'll
yo,
pack the trailer now. I can't.
he loves it.
He's got
Loves
all
it.
these little systems
It's
that I don't even
great.
know about, and
Yeah,
I say, Joe, you
love Joe.
go do it, Joe.
You need that guy. You need him.
You do need him. We didn't have him
Truly,
before, and this band didn't make any sense until Joe.
truly, we saw the light with Joe.
That makes sense now.
But and you guys have also talked, in addition to the band, you guys have families and things like that and careers. What's it like to kind of balance all of this together? Because you're making good music, you're able to do some touring and things like that, and get out and share that music. So what's it like balancing all of this?
It's a little hellish. It's
Struggling.
you go.
It's just it's a lot of ebb and flow. It's knowing
Yeah,
what you can say yes to and what you can't say, and having your dreams, but also saying there needs to be a realistic pattern to some of this stuff, and
Mhm.
making time do for everything that needs time for, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. We're lucky to have very supportive friends and families
Yeah.
around us. But it is a lot. It is a lot.
It is, and like especially now with the Americana Dream, which we just came out with in the fall, that was a seven-piece band. So previous records, Jesse played mandolin and fiddle, but now this record we had Evan Hocus on fiddle. So 7-piece band, like we can barely even get together for like a rehearsal, let alone figure out like who can play gigs.
Yeah.
So it is it's definitely a struggle, and with family they're so supportive and amazing, but there's only so much time that a human being has, and you want to play music and you want to spend quality time with your family and you want to be present for all of it, and it can be a grind
If
for
we were
sure.
22 and we were married, we'd probably just be on the road all
Living
the
in a
time
van.
and
Yeah,
doing and big deal. But
it'd be so easy. We'd
yeah,
just be like, "Phew, where's the next town?"
but
But yeah,
this is different now.
it's different. But you know
Okay.
what? It's still worth it for sure. So
Well, and you're still making some really good music, and you are getting to play those shows, and when
Yeah.
looking back to some of what you built out, your debut album Moonshine and its companion EP Bootleggin at the Flower Shop, won several awards when you guys launched those. What was it like to have those positive moments early on too, when you're getting good feedback on stuff that you guys are putting out there?
amazing. Not everybody gets that. It was very much like, what are people going to think of this? Oh, they thought that. That's great. Like, let's go. So, not everybody really gets to enjoy, offers to open up for Travis Tritt, like right away, stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, sweet. This is really cool. But at the same time, it was just, we didn't have too much time to get our like legs underneath us necessarily either. Like we did, but like, there was COVID, and then there was awards, and then there was just like we've been at it
Yeah.
ever since, like go, 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 go. So, but it was really invigorating to really have that recognition out the gate. It's hard to try to live up to awards sometimes. You get an award and then people are like, what are they going to do next? Oh, they didn't win an award this year or whatever, but like awards are cool, but they're not, I mean, we feel so proud and satisfied with how much we've grown over the years since 2021 as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Good
You
answer.
want to add
Good
anything?
answer.
He's like, you did it perfect. I'm not going to
I'm
say a
not
word.
answering the next one. The next one's on you.
Well, in 2023, y'all curated the inaugural Amerigrass Fest in Minneapolis. Is
Mhm.
that correct?
Hmm.
Yes.
I'll take this too. Just kidding.
I
Just kidding.
was gonna say because I think you did more of it, right, Megan? And
True.
so, what was it like doing that, and why was that kind of fun to do? With everything you guys were putting together.
It's a good opportunity for us because it's a lot of us like playing other people's stuff or out of town or things like that. We don't really play in our hometown all that much, but it's cool because it's an opportunity for us to kind of like get to play with the people around us, but also get to pick and choose the artists we really want to highlight. You know what I mean? It's music that we want to
And see,
and see that we want to
really?
hear and see and things like that. We've done it twice, and each time it's just like it's such a banger because it's just like it's what we like. It's what we want to hear, and seems like people want to come out to see that as well, which is pretty cool. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's just our opportunity, our one little time. We'll book some other shows in town, but it's our one little time to like be like, this is our thing. This is what we want to do, and we have a great partner in the Hook and Ladder Theater here that
Yeah.
do it with, us, and they're very supportive, and they're always down for it. So it's great.
Yeah. Can I add to that?
Yeah.
You'll be here till 10.
The first year that we did it was super cool because we had a lot of bands involved. It was like 7 bands, right? 6 or 7 bands. And and then we skipped a year because we were just too busy and on the road. And then this past year it was 4 bands.
Yeah.
It was 4 bands, and like so it was less bands, but it was also like way less stress. When you're a traveling band and you're also supposed to be the promoter of an event, that gets really crazy. Our friends Wild Horses who live up north, they do a festival too, and they have like a ton of bands on their show, and I'm like, how the heck do you do it? But it's been really fun for like community of musicians just in the Midwest area and all of it. So, we hope to do it for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, or so.
or until you say no, right?
Yeah, and so we're like, do you want to do it this year? No, not really. Yeah, me neither. Okay. Yeah.
Well, and you guys have done some other collaborations along the way. In 2023, you also teamed up with South Dakota Grasslands Coalition for the song
Ooh.
"Where Good Things Grow." Why was that something y'all wanted to do then as well, and do that collaboration?
Man, that was so cool. I wish there was like many of those organizations just like filling up our inbox
Yeah.
because it was an opportunity for us to do what we do best, as artists, write a song. Um, but meaningful, like, it was purposeful. And when they emailed and asked us if we would be interested in writing about the beauty of the South Dakota grasslands, we were just like, we had just finished going on tour and literally driving through there. And we're just such outdoor cats, and like we love being outdoors. And so like the opportunity to get to really dig into all these interviews that they already had online on wheregoodthingsgrow.org com, I don't remember, but um we got to watch a bunch of interviews of people that really tend to the land out there, and it's like multi-generational caring for the land and like all of it in like a very preservational way, and it was just all about what we enjoy and what we think is so precious about living up here. So it was a perfect fit, and the song came out great. And then we got this amazing videographer. We didn't get them,
Oh
but
yeah.
the organization did, and we got video of the year for that. We did was prance around in a field for a little bit, but like the video is amazing. Like Joe Dickey is so good at what he does, and really happy to have that as part of like our discography
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's cool to do something for. It's cool to do something that you believe in, or
Hmm.
you do something for something that you believe in. It's not. We're not like writing songs for other people all the time. But
Right.
when you get something like that where people are really passionate about something like that, it's cool to be a part of.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Hey, you never know where those collaborations are going to come, and when they do,
Right.
those are some cool opportunities. And along the way too, you recorded the Leap Year EP with Eric. I don't, how do you say his last
Koskinen.
Koskinen? I was like, I'm going to screw that one up. Um, where you were doing a lot of live takes on that one. How was that? Different from all the other times you went in the studio, because that one's more of kind of like a live album.
The
Yeah,
first ones were though too,
yeah.
right?
The first ones are like that too, but this one is a lot more just like kind of cut and dry, where it's like you get what you get. Because we did this where we recorded it like in the middle of January, and it was negative 30 degrees outside, and
Hmm.
it was terrible. But we wanted, because we had so much kind of lively music, we wanted to have something that shared a side that was a little more down tempo,
A little more January in
a little
Minnesota.
more. Yeah, how'd the state shape your songwriting, Megan? Um, so yeah, that was kind of that opportunity to do that, and we thought, man, a really like open sound where there's not like a lot else going on, not like a lot of post production or anything like that was kind
Yeah.
of our goal with that. So that was the dream.
Yeah, it was great. And Eric was super, super great to work with. His studio space was very lovely and full of wood and greatness, and small, very tiny small town, like population
Yeah,
5 or so,
I,
the pizza guy.
the pizza
But
guy.
yeah, so that was a good one for sure.
And then, like you said, you in the fall, the Americana Dream came out. I believe you've described it as a sonic travelogue, where exactly has this record traveled both musically, geographically. Yeah, I can't even speak tonight.
Geography.
Too much
Yes.
chicken cock. But what was it like to bring the Americana Dream to life, and bring that sound to life?
It's huge. Yeah, it
Magical.
was the coolest
So
thing we've ever done, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Oh, for sure.
And it really felt like a step for us from what we've done before. Kind of taking a step out of just like, oh, we're scraping by and getting together and just gonna get this little project out. It felt like we could really be serious about what we wanted to make, and that people around us were serious as well. And Megan has a comment.
I'll add too, like I love all of our songs, obviously, all the songs that we've written, but this one felt like we had gone
Yeah.
out, like these songs were the ones where we went out to Montana and we went to Wyoming and Colorado, and like we had this body of like memories and stuff as a band, which kind of started
Yeah.
the songwriting
Mm.
for this record, which just feels more, I don't know,
Yeah.
wholesome.
It's cliche, but it just we felt more mature about it. We felt more
Yeah.
mature with the songwriting, what we wanted to sound like, what we wanted to say, things like that. So, and I think it turned out that way,
Yeah.
which was fun.
Yeah, that geographically. See, I can say it now. It took me like 10 minutes, but I figured out how to say words.
You
But
got this.
and in addition to Montana and all those places, I also heard that the school pickup line, is where a song grew out
Right
from
here in
the song
Minnesota.
the song Elizabeth, which was born from a melody while you were just sitting in the pickup line waiting to get your kids.
Yeah, sometimes you never know. Typically, a song will come to me like on a hike or like when my hands are in the dirt, like in the garden or something like that. But that one was just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and then deciding to sing my daughter's name, and then thinking about just a person that we all know that like could be nicer and could stand to just let other people shine a little bit, and like then it just the lyrics kind of went from there, thinking about Queen Elizabeth and whatever else. But man, that song was a fun one for sure, and that was one of the first ones that we were really excited about for the album. So that one just kind of came out of nowhere for sure.
You never know where they will come to. Another one, talking about travels, and Noah, you wrote this one, Millie Moon, for your
Yeah.
daughter's first birthday, and a visit to Palisade, Colorado, inspired the good vibes of the track.
Yeah, the third verse is a lot of, which is cool because that's like a different planet being out in the western slope of Colorado,
Have you
man.
ever been to Palisade?
I have not.
It's like, like Eastern, like when people think of Colorado, like they normally think of, I think, Eastern Colorado, Denver, Boulder, and
East of the
it's
Rockies.
great, yeah,
Yeah.
east of the Rockies. But man, you go on the Western Slope, and it's just like the people are different. And nobody's like from there; they've all just congregated there because they want a different slice of life and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But it was just like based off a lot of joy and accepting joy, and I think kind of coming out of like an area of hardship and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to write it for, and that one, like sometimes songs take like a long time. That came to me like overnight. Like there was a night that we were staying
Mm-hmm.
over at a festival, and I just didn't sleep. I just was in a tent writing that song, and that was it. And it was done.
Yeah. And then the next day you were like, I wrote a song.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You didn't even go to sleep until
Well,
what do you
okay,
mean
but
you
then
wrote a
also
song?
at 6 a.m. I don't know. I feel like the birds had like loudspeakers. They were so loud I couldn't sleep. That's why I hate sleeping in a tent because just like you just get.
That's why they made it into your song.
Yes, surely, because they're loud as
That's
shit.
the second
I
verse.
couldn't breathe.
Birds on a
Sorry.
Hey, we drink. It's okay.
Yeah. I just didn't sleep. I just didn't sleep, and I wrote the song.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, you never know where that inspiration is going to come from, and the
Uh-huh.
album's fantastic. One of my favorite is "Hold You Down." There's so many good ones on that. What was it like working with producer John Fields on it, though? Because I read, I think he helped push you all to trust your guts and maybe do something a little weirder than you might in the studio.
Mm.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy,
totally different experience, but he
totally.
knows what he's talking about, and he's a unique guy, and we loved it. It's just what we needed because he was just very like, no, that sucks. Don't do something else. Do that better. That's not going to work. Do you like that? Great. Let's move on. It's like it wasn't like sit there and
Yeah.
second guess everything. It was like trust it. Do
I
what you got.
yeah, I think that was the whole like trust your gut thing where like he didn't give us any time to like think about it. So like you had to think fast, which means your gut said yay or nay, and that
And
was refreshing.
he's worked with like a lot of big bands, but it never made us feel like it was like, oh well, you guys can't really do this. It was always just like, no, you just do this thing. You know what I mean? You got it. So that was good because
And then he just added a whole bunch of little
he did.
little stuff
He,
here and
he
there, and
just
like, and he played electric bass on the songs that have electric bass on them. And he's just badass. He's a badass for sure.
Well, like I said, the record's fantastic. There's so many good songs on there, and all the songs were written and arranged by both of you except for one track. I believe All I Know is the one that had
Hmm.
that Noah that you got kicked out. Is that what happened?
I did. They said no Noah.
That one is just, it's been a special one because that was like the first song that I wrote. Like, I was recording with my friend Wes, and who lives in Chicago. Shout out to Wes Cause. Um, and that's the first song I wrote under Megan Lacey, and it came out in like 2017, whatever. When Noah and I got together, um, that was one of the first songs where we're like, we got to play some original songs. Okay, well, I have this song, like, and so it started everything for us. It's never really, totally fit in with like what we were recording for like Moonshine or anything like that. But like, we've been playing it for so many years, and it's just like that special little extra, that we whip out sometimes. And so then we decided, um, that was going to be the first song that we try recording with John Fields. And so we went in and it was like a test run with John Fields, and we're like, "Oh my God, is he going to like us? Can we do an album with him? I don't know. Here's This Love," or whatever. And he liked it, and he wanted to do more songs with us. And so then we kept that one on the record because it deserves a Maygen and the Birdwatcher. If you look it up under Megan Lacey, it's a whole different, like, pretty kind of like soft approach, Casey Musgraves kind of vibe, which is lovely too. But like, we like performing it how we do it, and so it needed to make it onto a record, so it was this one. Yeah.
Well, and I love too that for the most part, outside of that one, your records are pretty much you and Noah. I mean, what's it? Why is that kind of important to just kind of have you two taking the reins and building the songs out?
I think I would rather live and die on what we do,
Yeah.
even if it works, if it doesn't work, it's still the attempt, you know what I mean? And trusting that. And I spend a lot of time um helping others with their music, and that's great. I like that. But, you know, it's just this opportunity to say, we believe in what we're doing, we believe in what we're writing, and we want to make
Mm-hmm.
it work, even if not everything is the prettiest, or this could be this different, or sound a little bit better if someone else did it. It's like we want to have it be our thing,
Yeah.
and fly on that or not, but at the end of the day, when we look back in 20 years, it'll be, it's our thing. So
Yeah, and three's company, so
it's
like
true.
just having
It's,
two decision makers and
that's,
and like getting us to the same decision is like enough,
yeah,
I would
no more
say.
opinions.
We've got some friend bands where like everybody has, a vote, and it's just like, oh my God, how do you ever decide on anything ever? So just the two of us is pretty solid, and yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, how does that process go? Noah, is Megan just always right, or how does this work?
rarely. No, we do a lot of this. It starts a lot of it separately, where we generally come up with ideas on our own and work through a lot of that before we ever bring it to the other person. And then when we're together or we're sharing it, that other person helps kind of flesh it out. Like, there's a lot of the songs that I wrote where I was like, I have a verse and I have a chorus and I have like a structure, but like, what happens now? So then Megan's like, let me look at, like, here's the second verse. And in a lot of ways, that kind of gave it like its identity by having that. So I've said this like a million times, but it kind of feels like one person will kind of build.
Don't say it.
I'm gonna say
Don't
it.
say it
One
again.
person's gonna build the structure of the other of the house, and then the other person's gonna pick out the drapes. That's kind of the way it works. It makes sense for what we do.
He's the drapes guy.
I'm never the
I'm the
drapes guy.
structure guy.
I'm always
Okay? You're the drape.
Megan wishes she was cool as drapes. But then the other side of that is there's a lot of us kind of wrestling with an idea for a song. For a lot of it too, it's if one of us kind of has the idea, the other one is kind of like, okay, cool, let's help get to the finish line. But it's good because we can kind of wrestle through what our personal opinions and how we think things should go. Well, that generally helps us kind of distill down to like the right answer. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for
So
the most part, yeah.
good to we have learned and accepted that it's okay to kind of have that push and pull.
Yeah, it makes for better songs for sure. Brings us to a place that neither of us necessarily saw as the end, but like it's the Megan and the Birdwatcher
Yeah,
end.
exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it works, and like I said, you guys have been able to do some really cool things, and it's one thing to write the songs, record the songs. It's another to bring them to life on stage. And what's the best part for y'all to get on stage and share those, whether it's just maybe the two of you or the full band?
Mm-hmm.
It's the best part is when people get up to dance.
Man, that's nice. That's so
It's
nice
just
when people dance. Not
like
enough people.
well, and I will say I'm going to take them so you don't have any answers. But then I was in the last year you've seen a lot more people singing along, and that's pretty cool. It's cool for someone to sing your song.
Recognizing a song,
Yeah,
like when we start Feel Good, they're like, "Woo!" It's like, "What? You know this song?
yeah,
Get out of here!"
that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool. Um,
What do you got?
I just love being on stage. Well, first I have to get over my I'm so scared, I'm so nervous, blah dee da dee da, and then we start the first song, and then and then the whole set is just my favorite part. Honestly, I love live and just how it connects everybody, and each town is different and each room is different, and it's just so great to just kind of be in the moment with the boys and their solos and their extra solos. Whatever stuff. Yeah, that's good.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, what was it like on some of those moments? People think about musicians. They're like, or they listen to you guys and like, oh, everyone's got to know your songs that go to a show, but that may not always be the case. What was that moment though? Like when you're like, oh, people, we do have fans. They do like us. They do love us.
Yeah, that was so the first time I remember that was when we sold out. We sold out our Moonshine
Yeah,
album release show, and we arrived for sound check and they're like, "You're sold out." And we're like, "What?"
yeah.
Like it was so crazy.
It's validating, because you spent
Yeah.
so much time second guessing yourself, so much time going, is this right? Is this not? Are we just throwing this into the void? And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's nowhere, nobody's gonna care. So it's just, and we spent a lot of time, and it's been a lot of hard work.
And in Minneapolis too, like this is such a rich
Yeah,
music community.
yeah.
Like there's so many options of music to go see, local music, nationals coming through, whatever, and so it's just really it was really rewarding feeling to feel that for the first time, because again, not everybody is guaranteed that, so we'd still do it, I think, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because we love music,
You hope.
but that's definitely a good thing to hang our hat on, I
Yeah.
guess.
I was gonna say it just might have been a smaller stage, but now it's a bigger stage, and I always love asking this too. At the beginning, I ask what's your go-to drink, your favorite drink, and at the end, toward the end, I love to ask this one, and I'm curious to see because two of you, I think it might be different answers. We'll see, and that is, what's your favorite song of yours to perform live right now?
Oof.
Don't say Millie Moon. I'm not going to say Millie Moon, but are you going to say Millie
I
Moon?
don't know yet. Curious to see what you
Okay.
say. Oh, I actually have an answer.
I have two answers. Can I have two
You can
answers?
have two.
Because so we have a full band. When we play full band, it's like, hootenanny, good times. And then we also a lot of times play like listening rooms and like, four-piece acoustic kind of vibes. So, I would say the acoustic vibes, I really love performing our song called Comeback, which actually is on our first EP, and it's just a really meaningful song to me, and it usually gets a handful of people to talk to me afterward about their experience with the song and etc. So I would say Comeback for a stripped down set. And I love playing guitar too. So I would say I really love Feel Good. Feel Good is just the overall song that makes me excited to play.
Feel good.
Oh, I was gonna say
I
feel
was going
good.
to say it, but you said it. You said it. All right, there you go.
Good answers.
Yeah.
I have been Flo. I like playing lots of our songs, but and Millie Moon is up there. But the one I just feel like I get the most excited. There's a song that we had our first album called Full Moons, and then we reapproached it when we did Leap Year at like a kind of a quieter thing. But we liked both versions, so what we did is we kind of
Yeah.
put them both together, and we play like the kind of lively version, but we end with like this extended kind of long instrumental piece, and it's a ton of fun because it's like if you kind of just like fall into like the zone and
Mm-hmm.
that, and you can just kind of be in the music, and it's like when you can just kind of stop worrying about the people out there, and you're just kind of like it's all about just kind of what's happening here, and because
Yeah.
it's so easy to just forget all like that we do this because we like to play music. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like there's so much more that goes into this, but when you have those reminders that like, hey, this
Yeah.
is special, and you feel touched by something, it's like that's the whole ball game. And then I often feel like that with that song. So
Yeah, that one's a really fun one to
yeah.
play.
Well, and that's why I love the answers because what people don't realize sometimes is those live shows can be pretty special because you're able to do fun things like that. Maybe the song's taken on a new life, or you're able to kind of combine two versions of it and give people a whole different experience. Which, to me, that's I think my favorite part about live shows is the maybe unpredictability of it for the fans that may not know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what makes it magical for sure. And that's why I love live music too.
And you put out the Americana Dream at the end of 2025 in the fall. I know you got a few shows to kick off January. What else can you tell folks that's coming their way in 2026 that won't get you in trouble, but can at least give you a nice tease for folks to know things are coming?
There are some cool events.
We're
Uh,
going to Colorado, well, right after this airs, so we'll be in Colorado at the end of January, doing some dates out there. And then we got some summer festivals on tap,
mhm.
in the Midwest area.
Yep. And then we're gonna try to write another album and start doing that process again. Because the fun never
Yeah.
stops.
I think, yeah, it's gonna be a slow burn because this baby took forever. So, yeah, we'll just release like, singles here and there and just kind of keep the machine fed.
Keep it pumping.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. A good tease of many things to come, and maybe some
Yeah.
more music as well. And Maygen, Noah, thank you for sharing your story with me, sharing a drink with me. And folks, if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you going down that rabbit hole and listening to their music. Cheers, y'all.
Thank you.
See ya.